So 50 miles in the wind and rain on a bike I haven't ridden all year, that has a vintage French saddle on it that I've never ridden, one water bottle cage. What could possibly go wrong? Journey of 500 kilometers starts with 1 kilometer. Day 1, Festive 500, doing a little Kent ride. Christmas Eve, I need to pick up a couple last minute things while I'm out too. Pretty warm for a Christmas Eve, it's in the 50s. Festive 500 day 2, riding to my parents for Christmas. All the presents fit in my zeitgeist. Almost all of them. Some people have to get theirs later. I have a feeling the towpath is going to be real sloppy, so part of the reason I took the Gunnar. Also, my bags and tools were already just on it. Interesting that the towpath wasn't too bad. It seems to be worse on nights where it freezes overnight and then warms up. Yeah, because I went out last week, it hadn't even rained, but it was cold at night, and then 40s during the day, and it was a soup. It was a soup. I am riding down the parkway, hiking path on this side, jogging path on this side. Tons of people out on this Christmas, as it's gonna hit 60 today. When I talk about Northeast Ohio weather, this is what I mean. I believe it was in the teens last year and we were buried in snow. So, completely different this year. Never fails that there'll be a car when I need to cross this ford. I won't risk it because there are people who love to try and splash you. Nice and easy today to keep everything dry. I'm really the first one here. 12:27, 3 minutes to spare. Festive 500 day 3, just trying to knock out a couple miles between things. So had a financial meeting, counting stuff this morning, went in the afternoon with lunch and all that. Have Dave coming over to help me work on the building and do the live stream tonight. So just trying to knock out 10 miles. I haven't got enough miles in during the good weather, and I'm gonna have to get a lot in during the cold weather that's coming. 54 today, so really nice. Rain has passed, but I think it drops tonight, so we'll see how the rest of the week goes. So an interesting thing with the Festive 500 is, since it's 8 days, Christmas Eve to New Year's Eve, those days obviously hit different every year. And so now, having done it for a number of years, it's kind of interesting to think of where that fits in my normal schedule. And being someone who is a freelancer and doesn't have a normal schedule makes it maybe less weird than it is to other people who are like gonna knock out big weekend rides. Whereas in this week, I'm generally slow, and weekdays are better for me. It was almost worse this year so far, having Christmas be on a Monday. So I don't know, it's a bunch of weird nuances that are even weirder with my schedule. I feel like you calculate this stuff in your head, and even getting out for like 20 some miles yesterday on Christmas should be a bonus, but with the average needing to be in the 40s, or about 40, that's actually putting me behind. Today I'm only going to be able to knock out like 10 or something, so again, 30 more miles in the hole. That's something with a challenge like this, it adds up so fast even if you ride your bike. And I mean adds up so fast in a negative way. You get behind the 8 ball so fast. Grab's not the fastest to get miles, but like I said, it's a challenge, but I still want to ride my bike for fun. Probably not super visible, but that sun right under the cloud cover into the factory smoke is pretty cool. Not that visible for the GoPro. I wish I had my big camera with me. A quick 16, even a little better than I intended. We'll do the math in a bit. Festive 500 day 4. We are riding Otis's Surly Midnight Special, but is anything but a stock build. Try that again. But it is anything but a stock build. We will talk about its whole build in a different video though, because I'm testing it out and I haven't even looked into all the components yet. Just hopped on it and started riding. It's fully fendered and it's been raining all day. A couple things of note though, besides the fenders that are affecting my ride, that aren't about the bike or the build itself, just what I need to do. The saddles, and it's either too high or I need to slide it forward. I was waiting to build up some heat before I do that. It's not that cold out, but it's really damp and it's making it feel cold. So, and the other thing is, it's SRAM, and I'm used to Shimano, and SRAM drop bar shifting always takes me a minute to get used to, and it's also 1x, and he has a shifter on the left, so I've already pushed that shifter a couple times, but it doesn't do anything because there's no other chainring or derailleur there. It's a sharp looking bike for sure. Definitely got some nice stuff on here. Oh yeah, much better feel for the bike with the saddle in a better position. I might actually stop again in Kent, raise it up a tiny bit. I went from sitting on the front of the saddle to all the way on the back, and I still feel like I could use a little bit more room. I did notice it's an ergon saddle, which a lot of you guys have talked about. So I'll be interested to see how I feel on this. And then maybe for one ride, I'll throw a Brooks on. So I don't know, the bike's a little more apples to apples to my bike, so the saddle's not the thing making a big difference. Another thing I paid attention to when I stopped there, we got some Schwalbe G1s on this bike. Definitely dirt gravel tires, or one of the two, or both. But I've heard a lot of good things about those as well. So today we'll see how they feel on the pavement, but hopefully we could get them off-road a little bit sometime this week. far feeling pretty good on this bike. I like it. And we are 9.2 miles in. I just cut through that neighborhood, switched from the hiking bike to the Freedom. I'm gonna circle through Kent, go back to the hiking bike because I want to stop home before the ride tonight. I think I'm just gonna need some warmer socks. My feet aren't cold now, but I probably won't be getting home till 10 at night, and by then they might be. All right, back on the hiking bike, 14 miles in for the day so far. A little over 20 miles. I'm refueling before I head back out, and like I said, changing my socks. All right, back out here. On my bridge. $49.7. What did I say? Get home at 10? It's 10 to 10. Do I know myself? No, not at all. I could have had like 10 beers and not been home till midnight. But tonight I was a good boy. So Festive 500, day 5. So halfway through as I start this ride day-wise, but not close mile-wise. If I'm gonna finish, oh wait, I'll have to average 50 miles a day. So today's goal is at least 50. I am riding the Tamland too, my Raleigh. I wanted to be able to compare how it feels to the midnight special I rode yesterday. Cuyahoga Falls, home to this thing. It was supposed to be a revolving restaurant built by a church. I have a bit of a route in mind, but nothing locked in, because I want to be able to go however far I feel like going. But we're stopping by Erin's first. She has the week off. I want to swing by, see her and her cats, and give her a little present. I don't think I've ridden this road since last year's Festive 500. I know it was after dark and I was riding to Erin's in the snow. This road will take me around a curve and then a rip and descent into the Cuyahoga Valley. We are on Wetmore Road. Haven't ripped down into the park yet, but these are some of my favorite trails off this road in the whole park. So there's some horse trails, but there's some hiking trails too. And pre-pandemic, almost nobody came out here, so always my favorite spot to come. Really like it in all seasons. In the spring, there's a lot of trees that bloom. In the winter, there used to be some cool barns that were really pretty to photograph, but they've torn them down. And then obviously the fall in this part of the country is beautiful. Looks like they're planting a bunch of trees where the horse pastures and old barns and sheds used to be, so reforesting it. I get it. I get that the park doesn't want to maintain structures that they're not using, but I'll show some photos just to show you how pretty it was right here before they tore it all down. Glad the park exists. Feel bad for the people who got kicked out. here's an opposite effect. This was a golf course just a few years ago. I think even in some of my riding videos, you could see people hanging out at the bar and stuff. But I'm glad this is becoming parkland right in the middle of the park. Oh, a hawk. "10 miles in, just leaving the little town of Peninsula, and now we got the climb out of the valley, up 303. "13 miles, 650 feet of elevation, headed into the hike and bike trail." A couple quick thoughts on riding my Tamland after riding Otis's Midnight Special yesterday. All on pavement. The tires are noticeable. Renaer's 44s on this bike, those Schwalbe G1s on the other. Schwalbe G1s do have like a tight tread pattern down the center. When you start to lean that bike, like if you're climbing up a hill, you really feel those side knobs. Obviously tires that would be amazing for off-road, but by the end of 50 miles yesterday, I could feel that they felt draggy. And it's not about the width. People who think narrow tires are always faster are totally wrong. We'll get into that later. I don't have the breath for it right now. But it's the tread pattern. And Renaers are just, for knobby tires, are just fast on the road. Also the suppleness is nice, takes up the vibrations. So the other thing is that bike, the Midnight Special, has a dynamo. I didn't turn off the headlight, so I feel like that could be adding to the dragginess a little bit, because that bike does have steeper angles and should be more road oriented. Road-like. But I did like the playfulness of the handling on that bike, whereas this bike's super stable. I could ride no hands and see around corners on this thing, which, depending on what you're doing, is a plus and a minus, I think. A lot of nuance there, but yeah. The other thing is my saddle. I like my saddle. And I need to dial in the fit of the Midnight Special a little more with saddle position, so might even throw the Brooks on there for the next ride to get a little better feeling of the comparison. All right, that was already more long-winded than I wanted to be at this point. Let's get some more miles in. Had some Swedish fish in my stocking for Christmas, and they're about to come in handy on this ride. I put my chocolate, all my Christmas candy in my bike bag for the Festive 500. So much obviously goes into a bike ride beyond the bike. The wind, the elevation, how you're feeling, how much I talk to this GoPro. But for what it's worth, I am at 16 miles in, and I'm riding over a mile an hour faster average pace today. Do you guys know about the helmet lock? Just one of those things to buy you a little time if you just need to run in somewhere real quick. Helmet around the down tube and the front wheel, or through the rear triangle. Connector strap. Yeah. Someone goes to grab your bike and roll away. Could be that little second you need. I almost always lock my bike. But like right there, a trailhead just running into the bathroom, you know. Nice little trick. The other thing some people do is put it in the hardest gear, so someone couldn't just roll real easily on it. But yeah, I don't know. 21 miles back out on the roads, heading towards Kent. I have to say, in this tale of three bicycles, I know I've beat this topic to the death, but there's no world in which I'm riding or buying a one-by bicycle or setting up a bike one-by. Two-by is far and away a better system. If you don't want to deal with the front derailleur, fine, but you're giving up something for that convenience. By something, I mean multiple things. You could click this video if you want to see my full opinions. So now I am on the Portage hiking bike, just rolled through the edge of Kent. I think I'm gonna need a real lunch on this ride, but I think I'm gonna do a little out and back on this trail first. Eat a little later in the ride, snack until then. How good I feel riding pavement on this bike, and now how I say I ride my gravel bike as my endurance road bike too, really makes me curious, because this year I really haven't ridden any of my road bikes. They're vintage, for the record, but I think tomorrow we're gonna have to do my miles on one of the vintage road bikes, because now I just need to know, are they worth getting out on days like this when I'm riding at a reasonable pace and trying to knock out some miles? Or is my gravel bike really just the bike for road and then being able to go off on some cuts when I feel like it? So just past 25 miles, so should be halfway in for what I'm trying to do today, at least 50. With the weather being decent, kind of feeling like I should go a little farther today, but we'll see what my body and my mind say about that. Miles in, end of the line here. I have tried to ride where the trail ends. It's pretty rough out there, but far enough that I'm going to turn around and start heading back after a little chocolate break. My parents have been putting those little gold coins in our stockings for Christmas for as long as I can remember. Since I don't really like to just eat candy for no reason, I also feel like they're becoming a Festive 500 tradition for me. I think they've been ride fuel on every Festive 500 I've done now. One little downside right now, which I was afraid of, felt like I was sailing along there on the way out. Slight tailwind. So now we're 32 miles in with a headwind. Well, now it's wind and rain. Whew. So that last 10-ish miles before I came through Kent was just sat in the drops, head down, in the wind. Not a way I ride much anymore, but that was definitely hammering and not shredding. We're in the wind and rain again. Gonna make the end of this ride a little difficult. Gotta be honest, at this point I would take more rain and less wind, given the option. So I'm at 49 miles. I've gone through all my snacks. I am just gonna get myself downtown and we're gonna eat something. Woo! Bonking is just so bad. This last like 2 miles through the city have been brutal. I mean, I do have to say I am at 52 miles and my goal was 50, so I didn't plan my calories that bad, but whew, I could barely turn the pedals. Oh yeah. Also, indoor bike parking, one of my favorite things about my buddy's brewery. Festive 500, day 6, weather report, cold and windy. So I ended up riding my gravel bike again because I'm gonna go towpath north for a while probably at least 20 miles, and it could be soft. So maybe we'll plan a road route for the road bike tomorrow. First stop is a gas station. Let's get some snacks. Make sure there's extra, so if I do go a little farther, I don't bonk like yesterday. All right, we got our snacks. Headed north. Please don't rain. Please don't rain. If we get precipitation, please be snow. It should be cold enough. So about 45 minutes of riding time. It's 11 a.m. 10 miles. My legs are feeling a little tired and tight. Hopefully they loosen up. Or today's just gonna be a slog. We'll find out. All the little boardwalks and wood bridges are making me nervous. On Wednesday night, Brad went down on the bridge on the way to Kent. And when we all stopped and were walking around, you could barely stand on it. So just that teak wood holding all this moisture has made them all like ice. Feeling a few drops. Hopefully it stays real light. Cover crops are looking good. That used to be my job when I worked on the farm down here. Back then we were just using oats. I think now they're using stuff that has a better effect on the soil, like driller beets and stuff. But yeah, I always really like that in the fall, just getting to go out and spend my day alone on the tractor after a summer full of crowds and crowds of people and very hectic market. Well, I am starting to get wet. It's definitely still a drizzle. Hopefully it stays that way. I just realized I took my rain jacket out of my bag when I dropped my down jacket in there. I bring the down jacket for emergencies on colder days, you know, have to fix a flat or something. Have a mechanical standing around, you want something warm to throw on. But it's not gonna do me any good in a 33-degree rain. Just rolled through Peninsula. I didn't film it because there was a lot of slickwood bridges and people, so I had to pay attention. But thought about stopping because there is a lot of shelters and restaurants. I could have checked the radar. I'm 15 miles in. I decided I'm gonna gamble and keep going. I want to get this ride done without stopping, except maybe for a snack break. There's a big long wooden boardwalk coming up, which is usually really fun, but now, as I was mentioning, has me a little nervous because it's got curves and little bumps. Let's try and keep it upright. Talking with the GoPro in my mouth because I want my hands on the bars, but a walker just told me they fell just walking, so I am really taking it chill, especially with the way Aaron broke her ankle going this speed. So it's amazing all the times I've bombed across those things when it's been wet with no issue. It's just, it must be a perfect storm of conditions lately to make them just so slick. So I know the towpath is closed a few miles ahead for some, I think, riverbank work. My goal is to turn off on a closed or abandoned road we used to ride up. I've heard they have kind of either blocked it off or closed it permanently, so if that's the case, we'll have to switch to plan B. I don't have a plan B. 21 miles in, just honked a Snickers. Man, those things are hard to eat when they're cold. Some slop. Here's the closure at the Station Road Bridge. The road I was talking about looks like it's under construction too. debating whether we try to take it or not. There's no workers around. I'm not gonna cross this closure, but so I respect the closure of the towpath, the bike path, but not of an abandoned road. See, do you guys follow? 12% gradient. I did this once on my vintage Peugeot, and the surface was worse than that. Oh, they must have actually fixed this up a little bit to get the construction equipment in. Because if you come over the river, it's a historic Iron Truss Bridge. So I guess they're not going to bring backhoes and bulldozers over that. Speaking of backhoes, there's one up here. I don't know if we'll be able to get through. Woohoo! Now we have a slightly busy road to get to the hiking bike. We made it. That's the plan. Oh, let me turn on my tail light. I think there's a big shoulder though. Well, just as I suspected, the wind is going to be worse up here. So, a lot like yesterday. Just about halfway done, and it's going to be a headwind the whole way. It's a really pretty waterfall down there, but it's not a day for stopping. 28 miles, about 1,000 feet of elevation now. So we just climbed up to the top of the valley, and we are heading back south. Trees are blocking a little of the wind, but it still kind of blows. Get it? It's very West Virginia rail trail like through here. So I knew today was going to be fairly dreary out. Luckily stayed dry since we were down in the valley. But the funny thing is, I've been looking around, I'm like, it's so dark. Looking at the back of the GoPro, like, man, that looks really dark. Just realized I usually ride with clear glasses this time of year, and I've got sunnies on. So we are now cutting through the neighborhoods on the bike route that connect the two sections of hike and bike trail out here. That last section of bike path, I was just again head down time trial mode into the wind, trying to get it done. 36 miles in now. Well, I just passed my turn for home because I'm 39 miles in, and if I go directly home I won't get to 50. So I'm not feeling it, but I'm gonna ride a few miles out this way and then turn around to hit that number. I'm in the kind of mood where if I get back home, I'm stopping. So I took my Mambas, one of my other favorite gas station ride treats, fuels, whatever, out of my bike bag and put them in my front pocket, hoping it would make them warm up and be a little easier to eat. It might have helped, I don't know. Still pretty cold. I'm still pretty cold. I am not cold suffering, but my toes are just a little uncomfortable. We are actually looping through the neighborhoods now over to the Freedom Trail. We're gonna go through downtown Akron and back home. Like I said, I'm not feeling it, but what's the point of a challenge if you don't challenge yourself? Oh, as soon as I said that, I felt raindrops on my face. I'm also eating, so I'm sorry. Well, just hit 50 miles, so I think I'll stop and just call an Uber. JK. Every mile now is just ticking off one that I would have had to do on New Year's Eve, thank God. All right, let's finish this ride up. about to turn toward home, mother funkies. I'm coming for you, Edmund. Oh, day 7, starting in the rain, heading downtown Cuyahoga Falls to meet a couple friends who are riding. I don't know how I'm gonna pull this off now, because I have to have the studio ready for a little New Year's party too, so I am running out of time. It's already 1 o'clock today. Well, nice shadow. Hey, Edmund. This is less than ideal. Last day of the Festive 500. I wake up, flat tire on the Raleigh. My goal was to not have fun today. I literally wanted to grab my bike, be on the road at 10 a.m., knock out this last 50 miles in under 4 hours. Now I need to decide what I'm gonna do. The issue is, I think I have a tube to change out into that tire, but then I wouldn't have a spare tube for the ride. So I'm thinking of grabbing the road bike, but I haven't ridden that bike all summer. I had a lot of fun yesterday riding with my friends, and I'm glad that's what I did, but I only ended up in the 30s, so today I have 50 to go. I'm glad I got those extra miles the 2 previous days, you know, extra over 50, but now I'm in this situation where I'm like, I have tons of bikes, obviously, but I just don't want any problems, you know what I mean? I want to go out there and get this thing over with. I know I don't have to. It's a challenge. I set the challenge for myself. I just really want to do it and finish it. And so, I don't know. I'll probably just let you know on the road once we get out there what we're going to do. My plan is just to hit the bike path and go out till I get to 25 miles and turn around and come back. I've still, as I've been mentioning, got to get this place ready for New Year's. I've got some stuff done, but not enough. Not having a big party, but you know, you have some friends over, you want your place to look nice, whatever. Edmund is not going to want me to leave, but he sure is cute. I love you, little guy. So, 50 miles in the wind and rain on a bike I haven't ridden all year, that has a vintage French saddle on it that I've never ridden. 1 water bottle cage. What could possibly go wrong? Excellent start. Realized I'm gonna get way too wet, so I had to stop 0.7 miles in and put my rain jacket on. I'm giving myself a 50% probability of finishing this, and I think that's optimistic. I'm a determined person, but I don't know, this isn't looking good. 1.3 miles in, saddle's in a horrible position, but I realize it's those 2 bolt old school style, not 2 bolt, I don't know what you call them, but you need wrenches to adjust it. Already overheating from the rain jacket, which is why I think rain jackets are virtually useless. I think I might just go home. Whoever had 2.8 miles on their bingo card wins. It's a saddle position. If it's uncomfortable at 2.8, I'm not doing 50 on it. Yes, I could mess around with it, get it right and head back out, but I'm not going to. Maybe later today we go out for like a 20-mile ride, but I'm gonna enjoy my day getting the studio together and hanging out with my cat.
So how do I feel having failed to do the Festive 500 for the first time since I've attempted it? I'm a little bummed. I am pretty determined. Once I set a goal for myself, pretty good about seeing it through. That being said, if everything went right, I would have went out there, pretty sure I would have been able to finish those miles no matter how tough it was. But I have to say, I'm kind of glad it didn't work out. I got home, I started cleaning up the studio, got everything cleaned in the order I wanted to, was able to make it, decorated and have a really good party. More people ended up turning out than I had originally expected, so I was really glad that I took that day, like I said, hung out with my cat, and we got this place together. I didn't ride my bike at all. It's actually the second, and I still haven't ridden my bike since that little ride. So sometimes things don't work out, and it's not always the worst thing in the world. It was still a huge week of riding for me. I actually noticed changes in my body from that week that I didn't realize. So just the definition in my arms and legs came back. I just didn't realize that how much I had lost in that November and December, and also how much tougher the 500 was this year for me because that I haven't been riding as much. I was really feeling it on those 50-mile days in a row, where the last couple years I was, it was more of a timing factor of trying to get the miles in with the time than actually feeling that uncomfortable. But that's how it goes. Let me know below if you guys achieved if you had yearly goals, if you were doing something like a challenge like this. I know a lot of people said they were going to ride centuries on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. So I do plan to make a video that is going to be a year in review. More showing the footage, just a little bit of dialogue. I know everyone rushes to get all that stuff done before the year ends. Well, I feel like it makes more sense to have the whole perspective of the year. So mine's going to have the whole year in review in it. So, people share that Spotify rap stuff in November. They don't listen to music in December. Same with the Strava year-end stats. Those stats don't mean anything to the first. So that's it for me from now. If you like this kind of content, this is the longest video I've ever made. So people say they want to see some longer stuff. Here you go. Think about buying some of my merch below to help out the channel or becoming a channel member. But at the least, just hit thumbs up on this video for me. I appreciate you guys, and good luck to everyone in 2024. I hope your holidays were awesome.